Yo, today I want to talk about NPCs. And I know it's not trendy anymore to talk about NPCs. It was more of a 2022 type of deal. But I still figured I'll talk about it because, as I usually do, I have an anecdote. So I'll tell you my anecdote. So I went to the gym today, right? And I was like, yo, I've been going to this gym for the past, 4 years or so. And I basically know everybody, yet I can only pinpoint a couple of people. Like, there are some people that I'm seriously like, have I ever talked to this guy? Have I ever asked this guy how many sets he got left? Have I ever seen this guy before? I'm like, I think I saw him, but like, I don't know. And you know why? My bad. Again, my bad. I just drank some. I just chugged a bunch of raw buffalo milk. Not the best idea. Should kind of sip it a little bit, but fuck it. I wanted to record. I wanted to press record, you know what I'm saying? And finish my milk so I don't drink in the middle of the video. Nevertheless, or I digress, rather. This guy, so I asked the guy, how many sets he got left. And I was like, have I ever talked to this dude before? I was like, I think this guy has been coming to the gym for the past 4 years, yet he's so forgettable. And I started thinking, yo, how many people do I actually, know from the gym? Not in the sense of, oh, I know, that's my boy, but in the sense of I recognize them, or not even recognize them, but I'm like, if someone were to ask me, yo, give me the 10 people that go to your gym, I'd be like, yo, so there's this guy with the tattoos, with many tattoos. There's this guy with the long hair and the long beard. There's this guy with there's this bald guy who's jacked, a bunch of people. So then I was thinking, because there are a bunch of people that I would never put in my list. And I would think so hard. It's like you asked me to tell you all the Naruto characters. I could probably tell you a bunch, off the top of my head. I don't know, in 5-10 minutes, I could probably name 100. Don't quote me on that, but But still, there are some motherfuckers that would always be last. Would always you would never think about them. You know what I'm saying? Itachi would always be one of the first that I would say. But for some reason, see, I can't even think. I cannot think right now. I'm on the spot. As I said previously, when I'm in the spot, my mind just goes blank. But yeah, a very more, not niche, but just, I don't know, not that interesting of a character is always last, or you just forget about them. And this happens with the gym too, okay? With these people at the gym. So then I'm like, why is it that some people I could say in my top 5, while others would be in the top 50, even though, okay, so you could say Itachi, a big part of Naruto, right? But at the gym, with a lot of guys, I'm just like, yo, how many sets you got left? Yo, I'm saying type of shit like that. Or what's up, you know what I'm saying? Just regular shit, I'm not friends with most people, okay? So why, with some of them, I could, even though I barely interacted, or when I interact, I'm just asking how many sets they got left and if I can work in with them. Obviously, that's the correct way to go, because I'm never gonna be like, how many cells you got left, and then walk away. Even if they got one set, I'm like, yo, can I work in? Well, I usually just ask if I can work in. I skip the whole set thing because I don't care. Okay, that's what you should say, I guess. But why is it that with some of them, you know, I can pinpoint them exactly? Some of them, it takes me so long. And it's because they're fucking NPCs, okay? This is like that episode of Gumball. Like, I don't know if you know. Some of you might be too old for Gumball. Some of you might be, well, I guess not too young because Gumball is still rolling. But, well, Gumball is kind of, you know, it's below Adventure Time and regular show for me. But I don't know, Gumball is not that good anymore. But, you know, like, I tried watching, you know, like, one of my homies was at the party and he was just not doing shit and he was just watching Gumball and I was like, yo, let me stay with him for a little while. And I watched the fucking episode and I dipped. But that's besides the point. There is that one episode in Gumball where he like opens his mind and he sees like other people at the school that he never saw before, you know? Like, I think it's called like The Others or something like that. And now, those people might have been kind of interesting. Well, I don't remember. There was like a paper guy and shit. But yeah, it's because he didn't see them because they were so irrelevant, basically. That's what is kind of implying the whole thing, is that they were kind of NPCs. Yeah, they have their little story. I might make a video about that too. Like, it's so interesting how, like, if you really think about it, everybody got like a fucking story, you know? Everybody's like gone through shit, gone through, you know, everything. And it's kind of crazy to think about. But that's besides the point. I think there's an effect with that name. But yeah, hopefully you can't hear the way I'm walking because I don't have socks on. Yes, I'm recording this shit with my toes out. My bad. Oh. Okay, I'm kind of... Maybe I should have chugged all that milk. It was not that much, but still buffalo milk is kind of heavy. But hopefully you can hear like my toes because it's so hot. I cannot even have socks on. My records somehow without the shirt, but I gotta put my mic somewhere. Maybe I have to like put like a fucking glue it to my fucking chest or some shit. But yeah, so in that episode, it was implying that there were a bunch of NPCs that, while they had their own lives and shit, at the end of the day, they were kind of irrelevant, okay? Yeah, they had, you know, it was like, oh no, he broke her heart, and oh no, fuck. But at the end of the day, it was kind of irrelevant, you know, not really that interesting for anybody except for them, okay? So, the same thing, I feel like it's at the gym. There are so many people that are just irrelevant. And you could say, well, why are they, what's the difference between the guy that you remember and the guy that's irrelevant if with both you don't really interact that much? Well, the difference is that they're just contrast between them, okay? They're just, fuck, what's the word I have on the top of my tongue? Okay, I'll try to explain it because it's like with P, I think, or like they're kind of not controversial, but like they're different, okay? They're not like the same, okay? You remember the fucking bald, jacked testosterone guy, fucking steroid guy, because he's so fucking different. He's a fucking turtle, an angry fucking turtle. Of course you remember that guy. He's different. And guess what? I would rather be the guy who's different than the guy who's not seen at all, okay? And this is not from a place of I want attention or I want this, I want that. Okay? This is one of my biggest like philosophies. Like be different from the rest. You know? Just the average person is a fucking loser. That's facts. Okay? The average person is bullshit. Thinks like shit, consumes shit. Okay? Is just shit, okay? I wouldn't want to be the average person at all. And I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about looks. I'm not talking about, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about just different overall. Like, you can sense that it's hard to explain because it's not something that you really, you know, you can really have, but it's more like swag. And swag doesn't mean to just be kind of, you know, obnoxious, confident in an obnoxious way, or just even confident in general, okay? It's just you have your own swag. Because I did give the example of the steroid guy, okay? And that he might have the more masculine like look, but there's a guy I remember from the gym that's like skinny as shit with glasses, but he got like tattoos, and it's like, whoa, he's fully tatted up, and he's kind of shy and shit, but it's like, huh, that's kind of a cool contrast, huh? No, like, I want like I'm like, huh, this guy is pretty interesting, okay? And I remember that guy, okay? Or I don't know, an older guy with like some cool bandy, like, you know, I'm like, huh, this guy is kind of cool. Or a guy that just dances, you know, he fucking walks and dances. He walks and dances all the time. That's why I remember him. They're different, okay? They might even dress normal, which I'll get into fashion in a bit, okay? Because this is something I haven't really explored on this channel till this point, but well, it's one of my biggest interests, okay? But they might dress normal, and frankly, everybody at the gym kind of just wears the same shit, you know? We all kind of have, you're either wearing a white tee or a black tee, or a white tank top, even though that's kind of crazy. White tank top is kind of wild. I don't know. Just, it seems kind of wild. I think like, that's literally a wife beater. You know, a white tank top. I feel like it's the fucking stereotype. I don't know. You know, it's funny. White tank tops are kind of funny to me. I don't know why. Okay, so, or a black tank top. And then you either wear some shorts or some long pants or something. You know, like, we're not that different. You know, maybe you wear a Nike compression shirt, maybe you wear a hoodie. Wearing a hoodie, I don't know, like, what's the fucking point of that? I don't know why the fuck you would wear that, you know? I had, at some point, you know, wanted to do that because it was generally super cold in the gym. But, like, for the most part, it's hot as shit in the gym, you know? And you're not cool fucking with a tank top and a hoodie on, like a hoodie up, just benching, you know, because you're sad. Shut the fuck up, you know? You're not trying to be seen, but wearing that kind of fit, you're like, everybody's fucking looking at you, okay? So this is what I'm saying. You should try to be different, okay? To not be different just for the sake of being different. Because that's another thing, okay? That's a performative type of bullshit, okay? Like, I see these guys, you know, some people could consider if you would see me in real life, people would say that I'm like emo or whatever. I'm really not, okay? And I really wear all types of shit. Just because for the most part, I wear baggy shit in all black don't mean, you know, that I can just, you know, wear a suit sometimes or wear color. I actually love color. I wear pink sometimes, okay? So, but these people, I see a lot of them that are like really, you know, kind of emo. Like in my area, there are a bunch of motherfuckers that are like have dyed hair and piercings and baggy jeans, and I'm like, these people all try so hard to be different, but at the end of the day, they're all pretty much the same, okay? Because maybe this doesn't have to do anything with the video, but why, you know, be different, bro? Like, try being different is a form of being the same, okay? You know, this was what punk was supposed to be different. And then people started, you know, buying ripped shirts on purpose. Like, you're destroying the whole point of punk, okay? I'm not trying to get into the history of punk and the shit like that. But, okay, so I see a bunch of people with a bunch of piercings, dye hair, but at the end of the day, all these people look exactly the fucking same. You all look identical. You're just, okay? Are they polarizing? Okay, that's the fucking word that I was looking for. Yeah, polarizing. Are they, okay, so are they polarizing? For sure. For sure they're polarizing. But that doesn't mean that they're not NPCs. And I guess everybody is an NPC in their area. You know, when I'm with my friends who also wear like the same shit I wear, you know, like the brands I wear, I typically wear Balenciaga, you know, Recons and shit like that. Okay, I try to mix and match though. I don't just go full Balenci or full Rick, you know. But I feel like that sometimes too. I'm like, yo, damn, you got the same fucking hoodie as me, you know, or I'm like, damn, okay. But still, it's way rarer to see people like that, and I still got my own shit going on. Okay, I never like, as I said, I wear like thrifted pants that were like $20 with some Balenciaga boots. You know, okay. That's the my take on fashion. I think you should be different. You should be, but be different in your own way, not be different in the sense of, what's different? Oh, dressing like a fucking, I'm gonna say emo, because this is kind of emo, right? Like, yeah, the dyed hair with the exact, you know, emo hairstyle, you know? So, yeah, people are like, oh, be different? What's different? Emo. I'm gonna be emo. No, that's not fucking being different. That's being the same way, just polarizing, which you could argue is a bit better, but yeah, still forgettable, okay? So these people at the gym some of them are unforgettable, yet they don't look super different, okay? They're decent, okay? Some are unforgettable because they're super jacked, okay? That's another thing that could make you different, being super jacked, or being super skinny, or being super fat, okay? Those are things that could make you different. But for the most part, they're just decently jacked, because I see them all the time, so obviously they're gonna be a little bit jacked. You know, they're a bit smaller than me, some are a bit bigger than me, but overall, you know, it's kind of the, you could say, upper intermediate maybe territory for me, like where I'm at, or, you know, depending who you ask. If you ask fucking GBS, like, he's gonna say I'm an intermediate, because if he's advanced, you know, I'm fucking intermediate. But like, most people would say that I'm quite advanced. Anyways, I consider myself kind of upper intermediate. okay, I've been going to the gym for like, I don't want to make that fucking joke, but like 6 or 7 years, okay? And the good thing is that we all have this different thing, okay? We can all be different in our own way. I'm not talking about fashion, I'm not talking about looks, though these could play a part, as I said before. But it's simple to be different in our own way, you know? Like, for example, in this channel, okay? I'm different in my own way. The way I talk, the way I talk about things, you know? I don't care. I will relate shit to Naruto because I like Naruto, you know? Will liking Naruto make you different? Fuck no, okay? There are so many people who like Naruto. But you don't only like Naruto, okay? You can like a bunch of fucking things, okay? You like Naruto, then you like fucking underground rap, or you like, you know, whatever you could think of. Your fucking interest. Let them shine, okay? Let them fucking shine. And maybe think like, what would the average person do right now in this situation? And do the fucking opposite, okay? That's usually the answer. Obviously, maybe not, you know, if you have the chance of, you know, doing some, let's say some stupid shit, obviously, you know, don't do it. But for the most part, the answer is, what would the average person do? Well, the average person would probably just fuck around, sit around, eat this garbage ass food, you know? What would a non-average person do? And it's not always like the healthier way. I'm not trying to impose that, you know? Like, but for example, the average person could like be, yo, I'm not gonna go to the club tonight with my friends because like I'm lazy, you know, or I'm insecure or whatever, you know? So you could go to the club because you're not that. But it's not necessarily healthier, yes. But sometimes doing the unhealthy thing is the healthy thing, which again could be a topic by itself to talk about. But having, you know, just sometimes you gotta do the sometimes you gotta do the unhealthy thing just because it's better in the long run, okay? Sometimes it's better to go out and, you know, as long as you gain through that shit and you're not just sitting in the back of, that's the stupidest shit. To go out, you like, if you're gonna do a bad thing, quote bad thing, like going to the club and not sleeping, at least use that shit, you know, be the fucking star of the fucking party, okay? Don't sit in the back and not do nothing. Just sit with your drink, follow your friends or whatever, and you don't talk to any chick. You basically just waste the whole night, you know, you just came because you were asked to come. But in reality, you should have came. Not anyway, because, you know, that gives you a reason. It's like, okay, my friends are going out. I'm gonna go out too with them. But like, I'll make sure I'm gonna get something out of this, okay? Not have the pressure of, oh, I need to be productive here, but like, just don't be afraid to do things. And if you're afraid, fear, first of all, doesn't exist, okay? And you should do it anyway, because like, fuck it. Regret is like the worst emotion in the fucking world, okay? Worse than anything. But yeah, I don't know why I'm talking about that when the topic is about NPCs. But try to stand out, okay? Not just for, okay, because I don't stand out for the sake of I want people to talk to me, okay? That's not the reason. Or I want attention, or I want stares. Do I get that? Yes, I get that all the fucking time. I got Balenciaga Defender boots, bro. You know what that fucking is? People look crazy at me. I got techno cloaks, okay? Those are fucking, like, search them up if you want to on Google. Those are fucking crazy. You know how crazy old ladies look at me and, you know, people in general? But I don't do that for the fucking stairs. It's the fucking principle. You know, standing on business and being like, nah, I'm not gonna conform, okay? Again, I said that people who are like, oh, I'm never gonna conform, are really still, you know, conforming to that kind of identity. I'm just saying, be fluid, okay? Sometimes I'll pop out in Balenciaga boots. Sometimes I'll just wear regular Jordans, okay? Doesn't really matter. It's how you feel, and should present the way you feel, the most authentic version of yourself. You know, not being an NPC doesn't equal trying to be different. It's more so showing who you are. We all have interesting beliefs as long as we're not fucking tied to the pressures of the world and everything like that. And I understand we cannot show the, you know, full side of us all the fucking time, okay? I can, like, here I'm showing like maybe like 70%, okay? But still, I don't know if I could do that if I were like to sit in front of the camera and, you know, because, yeah, I don't know if I could. Like, it's kind of hard for me to talk like this too, okay? And the more I'm aware, the more I like stop talking. I'm like, oh, nothing comes to my head. So I gotta keep on moving physically and literally, okay? Because as I said, I made these videos while walking. That's why my mic might not pick everything up. That's why, you know? But still. Okay. So being different doesn't equal trying to be different. It's just showing who you are, authenticity. Okay, being authentic and asking yourself, yo, what would the average person do? And do the opposite for the most part. As long as you think that the average person is a fucking loser, but you should think that, because look at the fucking statistics, bro. I personally don't want to be an NPC, you know? I want to be remembered. I want people to be like, oh, it's that guy, you know? I want people to be like, when they ask you, who are the 5 people that go to the gym? Oh, it's this guy, and I want to be in the top 5, you know? Or who you remember from high school, or, you know, who you remember from whatever. You know, I just want to be remembered personally, because that means I'm doing something right, okay? If you're not remembered, you're probably doing something wrong. You're probably, you know, I mean, there is the idea of the quiet millionaire. Okay. But there are things you can't hide, okay? Even if you're a fucking quiet millionaire, okay? So not famous, basically. People can tell that there's something, you know, about you. Maybe they can't pinpoint it, but like, okay, the quiet millionaire, this guy comes to the cafe every day. He's so relaxed, you know, like the aura, you know, comes out, okay? You cannot stop it from coming out. Pause. Hopefully you understood what I tried to say. And I think this video is kind of long. As always, overall, it's about becoming the best version of ourselves. And of ourselves, okay? Our, you know, nerdy selves, our cool selves. We all have parts that are, you know, we're not trying to suppress them, okay? I'm not trying to suppress the parts that are quote wrong, or, you know, not seen that way. Okay, I'm rambling. I noticed this when I get like after I've been talking like for like 30 minutes, I start rambling and I start because yeah, I think I'm all over the place. I kind of lost it. You know, I talked about so much shit. I went back and forth. I really thought this was going to be a kind of a short one, but I guess that's what happens when you don't have an actual script or an actual, you know, I literally just have the topic because I want to talk about it the most. Like, I don't know, I feel like if I think about it beforehand, it's going to be more you know, more artificial, and it comes out, you know, worse. I want to, you know, but that also means that I don't know. Okay, and I kind of want my videos to be a bit shorter. They're kind of long, okay, but still, long videos reinforce things. So maybe with all of those anecdotes, you got what I was saying. My videos are like a book, okay, or books before self-improvement. They're like, you gotta find the answer yourself. I'm not gonna tell you, okay? But I'm not gonna, you know, I cannot have like a proposition, do this and that, okay? But hopefully you understood, man. And I think, you know, if you watch this whole thing, you're probably smart enough to, at least you have an attention span, you know, and you're probably smart enough to be like, okay,